Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to Start Select podcast. You're here with me, Adam. I'm joined with Nathan and Anthony. How are you guys doing?
Good, man. Good to be back.
Yeah, good. We've not done one of these podcasts in a while since the end of last year, so we thought we'd just catch up on what's happened with the first quarter. There's a lot of big news that's come out recently and over the past couple of months, so we thought we'd touch base with everyone on that. We're going to look at the different consoles and just kind of go through it from there. So starting off, I think we should probably talk about Nintendo and the rumors of a Switch Pro. Are we
Yeah.
calling it? Is that the kind of name? First off, the main thing really is the price point. It seems to be pretty high. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of the people I think a lot of people knew this was coming at some point, and now it's getting closer to it. And apparently it's coming out this year. But in terms of the price point, it's meant to be the highest price for any Nintendo console, which I kind of like understand because obviously the Switch is like the best kind of system we've ever had in my eyes, especially in terms of like the tech that's in that system. And making a pro version of it, I can understand it being like there because I think the Switch is it's about on 320 now, I think, is it like when it launched anyway? I think it's about 323. So I think about 380, that sounds about right now to make it a plus, or pro, whatever it comes out on its card. But are you guys like interested in like kind of benefits of a pro, like in terms of like resolutions or frame rates and stuff like that?
I mean, I think it's a bit weird that. Well, I know I get it because they're trying to. We've spoken about this before. They're not necessarily competing with the
Mm,
others, but they still have to maintain the kind of current standard of things. I
yeah.
get why they're doing it. I think it's a high price point if you're looking around 380. But for me personally, I don't play Nintendo games for the frame rates, for the resolution, that sort of thing. I play it for the kind of Nintendo produce fun games, and I think that's what they're brilliant at. No, we've seen games come out recently, like the previous Pokemon games and stuff, and remakes of other games where people are just like, "What are those graphics?" And
Yeah.
if it's on a better console, it doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, how much of a difference is it going to make?
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Anthony?
I think that the price is too steep for what it is, to be fair.
Yeah.
Especially when you've got like the newer Xbox and the new PS5, and they're roughly in the same sort of price range, and you can just opt for that instead of an upgraded Switch is a bit. I don't know. I think they need to bring it down a bit.
Yeah.
It does seem strange. I mean, I don't think they're competing with the Xbox, but you're right. Like, why bring out a console £130 dearer than the Xbox, even dearer than the PS5, like the digital copy,
I
digital
think
edition?
I have the answer. I have the answer. It's
Oh,
because people want to play Breath of the
Okay.
Wild 2 with 60 frames per second and upscale to 4K. Because if you think about it, like you are right what you're saying, what you said there, Anthony. Because like, you have got the PlayStation 5 and you have got the Xbox Series, whatever you want to play on, and they are up to date with graphics, but there's just so many IPs that you can only play in that Switch. And I think there's a lot of people, including myself, I'll be honest, I want to play the next Breath of the Wild with the best graphics and the best, especially frame rate. Frame rate, I'm more of a frame rate person. With 60 frames per second, I'll gobble that up because I'm one of them. There's certain games that I play handheld mode, and then there's games that I have to play on the TV. And Breath of the Wild was one of them. There's been a fair few others as well. But yeah, if you're saying that they can release another handheld system, like the Switch Pro, if it's called that, and I can play these big titles with more frames per second, high resolution. It also allows developers as well to get a bit more space to like play around with because I know Monster Hunter Rise, which is it just got released on the Switch. I predict I'm going to predict that that's going to be the best selling game of the year, to be honest. But they're implementing the RE engine, which is the first time it's been on the Switch console, and you got to like think they must have squeezed that in somehow and just managed to make it work. But if they had a bit more space to play with, I think the possibilities could be a lot more bigger. Do you know what I mean? And I think real
mhm.
benefit from it. The price tag, I think it's if we're going off the rumors, I think it's kind of like justified. I mean, it's about an extra 60 quid. I think that's justified. It just depends now because most people have Switches. I know not everyone, but a lot of people have Switch. Right, it's one of the best selling consoles ever. are you gonna want another Switch in the house? I think that's what it kind of comes down to.
And kind of for what you're getting, it's not necessarily a next gen
Yeah,
console, is it? It's not like they're going to release Switch Pro exclusive games like they can PS5 or
yeah.
I know they're not quite there yet, but in a few years they will be. Well, they are with some things, but I mean, you're not going to have that same division. So if you can still play the game, how much are you going to commit? But I like what you said there about Breath of the Wild, and it kind of ties in with this Pokemon Legends reveal trailer as well, because that looks like it's going that way where they're going big and they're going kind of open, much more open world sandboxes type thing than all the other Pokemon games we've had so far. And they're adding things to the collection, like you said, Monster Hunter, Apex Legends as well. So
Yeah.
they're definitely bringing things out where they would benefit from 60 FPS. Yeah.
I just don't know if your casual buyer is going to see it as much like your typical kid trying to say to his parent, "Oh, I want the Nintendo Switch Pro this Christmas." Like most parents are going to look at the kid like, "Yeah, but you've got a Switch right there."
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know.
I think the gaming market is much bigger than it used to be, and not just because, esports and stuff, yeah, but our generation now and people 10, 15 years older than us have grown up with video games being a part of their childhood, and a lot of them have carried it over. Whereas when we were younger, when it was the Wii or the GameCube, there was fewer people. Yeah. So I think even now the Switch isn't necessarily just tied.
So what you're saying is you've got what you're saying is you're going to have older generations who understand the little nuances like that.
Yeah, and parents like my I've got a 9-year-old. I know full well if they bring out a Switch Pro, I'm gonna inevitably end up buying it because he's gonna say, I want to play Breath of the Wild 2 for 5 minutes before I get bored of it and throw it in a cupboard.
Yeah, I mean, and I think out of all the consoles right now, I think the Switch is the one that's able to do multiple consoles in one household. But just because obviously it's a handheld as well. I don't think it's actually too far fetched to have to see a house with two Switches in one house, just because of the if there's 4 people living in there, I think it's kind of believable. And also one of the other rooms as well was the fact that the screen's actually I don't know how much bigger, but it is bigger, slightly bigger, which gives it a bit of a bonus, I guess.
Yeah, I think you need to be careful with that though, because Nintendo pride themselves on quality over anything else, really.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. What was it, Mario 3D All Stars, which they kind of, I think they stopped it this week or last week. They stopped production, so you can no longer get physical copies. I mean, until the ones that are out there are sold, but it's that Nintendo have since the start of the Switch, because let's face it, when the Wii and the Wii U came out, that was very much cheap, just pushing everything that we got on you. But now they've gone back to the GameCube and N64, where it was about quality over quantity or anything else. So I think expanding the screen's a good thing, but I'm wary with Nintendo products now, and that's something I couldn't have ever said previously to the Switch, and it's because of the joystick drift. It's just a big issue. So hopefully, it doesn't mess with anything that side of things. And I know you said before, Nathan, that's not really an issue, but I think it is something that's in the back of my mind.
Well, you mentioned it a little bit before, Adam. Yeah. Do you want to move on to the new Pokemon game, the big one? Because when I watched the trailer, I'm not a big Pokemon fan these days. I know you play a lot more than I do, so I want to get your opinion on it, and even you, Anthony, if you saw the trailer. But I did get a bit of a Breath of the Wild moment when I watched that trailer.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think that's what we're seeing. This is now, it's not quite the next generation of, well, it's the next generation game of Pokemon, but being released in whatever generation the Switch is in. Nintendo just don't run parallel with the others, so it's hard to tell. The Wii U could have been previous gen, I have no idea. But it is a next gen game. I'm excited for it. Anything different with Pokemon, I've obviously I played against my son for years, and prior to that I used to play them, and it's always something I've enjoyed, the fun games, and I love the latest Sword and Shield, and I've not, obviously Diamond and Pearl are coming out, the remakes of them. I think it's Diamond and Pearl, which look shit, but I'll probably end up picking them up.
Sure.
But I've got a lot of faith in the Pokemon franchise, and I think the game itself looks exciting, and like I said, I trust Nintendo in terms of the quality of the game, the play style of the game. I trust them. and I know they're going to produce something pretty epic. I'm hyped for that. I'm very hyped.
Well, I'm actually quite curious with you, Anthony. I don't know if you're similar to me. Like, did you used to play the old ones at all? Like Red, Blue, or any others?
The old Pokemon, yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
had the ones on the last ones I bought were the ones on the 3DS. So
yeah. Oh, okay, so yeah, that's not
That's
too.
quite
That, yeah, you got
yeah.
quite far into the series. Yeah, you're roughly like me. I actually think the Pokemon games are good. I just want more from it. And what I've always said, and I've always said this, I want that big jump, and this could be it, right? Like what I saw from the trailer, it could crash and burn. I don't know. We need to see more, of course, but so far, first impressions. I like the initiative for that big jump. Whether it works or not, I don't know. But I'm definitely excited, and I definitely think this is the way to go. I don't really want a better version of the last game with new content. I get that. I get that's what a lot of people do want, and I'm like the minority in that. But I do. I want that big jump. I don't know if it will, but it looks promising. And for what and for like every time a new Pokemon game gets announced, I'm like, yeah, it looks good. I probably won't play it. I'm gonna keep me out in this one for sure.
I mean, you've hit the nail on the head, I think, because for me, when the Let's Go series came out, I was like, oh shit, this is good, this is really
yeah,
good. But I
yeah.
know a lot of us kind of looked at it like, well, not me, but a lot of you guys looked at
Yeah.
it and were like, it's just Pokemon. It's just they're just re-releasing. Do you know what I mean? Yellow essentially,
Yeah.
and doing an odd different thing. But do you reckon this could be the big jump then that the Let's Go kind of franchise missed out on or tried to do without really pulling away from the bog standard Pokemon game too much?
Yeah, I mean, see, I love the concept of Pokemon Let's Go. I really do, but I feel like it did what it was supposed to do though, right? It took out some mechanics and put new mechanics in. It took a lot of stuff from the Pokemon Go mobile game and obviously pull it into that game. They kind of got a good balance between RPG and kind of like Pokemon. No, just if you're a fan of Pokemon in general, because a lot of people they just like Pokemon. And that's fair enough. And maybe they don't like RPGs. They might like games, but they might not like RPGs. So therefore, they might play the
Mm.
spin-off Pokemon games, which is fair enough because like some people they like the cartoons more than the games, really. And that's just how it is. So I'm hoping this is like we've had Pokemon Let's Go. I won't mind if they make another one too. Because if I had to recommend a Pokemon game to my wife, I'll probably go Pokemon Go just because it's a lot more easier for her to get involved and just get stuck in. I'm hoping this is a bit on the other side when it's like that big jump when it's like I hope the Pokemon battles are still as solid as the like the mainline series ones are with a little bit of Pokemon Let's Go because I love the environment in Pokemon Let's Go. Do you know what I mean? So they can add them two together a bit more stronger. It might be enough to pull me in. Like I said, the trailer's quite short, and I hope it is as good as it looked, basically.
I think Nintendo, I'm excited for the things to come from Nintendo, definitely. I like originality and I feel like they're heading that way with other games as well. On that note, then, not originality, but repurchaseality, we'll move on to Microsoft and have a look at what they've been doing, which is that Bethesda acquisition has now gone through, as in it was in the past. We now exist
Yeah.
in a Microsoft or a Microsoft-owned Bethesda world. So
Yeah.
I'll start with you, Anthony. What are you kind of hoping for from this? Are there any games on there? You don't have an Xbox, so is there anything that would this pull you towards the Xbox? Is there anything you're hoping to see?
Entice
Mm.
Sorry, what was that?
But you mean like entice me to buy an Xbox in the hopes of? Well, it'd have to be like, what are they going to do next? Because like, it's great that they've got this amazing back catalogue of all the old Bethesda games that you can now go back to. But I still like have the consoles that those old games are on. So the back catalogue isn't really a major selling point to me because I could just get that back catalogue elsewhere. But the idea that they now have Bethesda and can like do new things with it is actually quite exciting.
And I know we briefly spoke about.
I'd have to wait for like new releases first.
Yeah.
Well, I know we briefly spoke
What
about it
are
before the
Microsoft going to
podcast.
do with it?
Well, it looks like from what you were saying, Nathan, and from what most people are saying, to be honest with you, Bethesda is now almost certainly exclusive to Microsoft and any future releases.
Yeah, with a few titles excluded, like obviously the Deathloop it's already in deals. Like that's gonna happen. That's gonna be a time exclusive for PlayStation. But apart from like little deals, like there's a one more game. I think it's Summit in Tokyo. It's like a Tokyo game. I can't remember what it's called. Ghost Tokyo, I think it's called. That's also something to do with the Sony. But apart from them two titles, yeah, I do believe going off the interview and the sit round table that they did, I do believe it is going to be exclusive to Microsoft now, and or even to Game Pass because the way they worded it was every game's going to be exclusive to Game Pass, but they also worded it so obviously games like Deathloop can't be involved in it. Obviously, they're in other deals, but. Are you guys interested in the new like up and coming title? It's a big title. Is it Starfield?
The new Bethesda title.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I've heard of that. One sec. Let me have a look.
It's a massive name. I don't know if I botched the name or not.
Oh yeah, no, you didn't. Bethesda.
No, yeah,
Oh
Starfield.
wait, no, I have heard of this. Yeah.
This is their next, not like next, like
Soon.
small. I don't want to like say smaller games, like, but it's their next big game. Like it's meant to be. It's like the next in terms of like status. It's meant to be the next like Fallout or the next Oblivion, if you can try and imagine it, I guess. But yeah, that's their next big title, and the rumors are going around that that is going to be coming out this year.
Yeah,
They're going to
I've
be
just read that.
they're going to be showcasing it in summer, hopefully. And they said that they're showing some games off in summer, and this is the biggest title that they've not shown yet. If it's as big as people are saying it is, and if it's as big as they're making it out to be, like if it's the same level as like Fallout, then that's a massive deal.
Yeah.
Having that big, and if it is an exclusive to the Game Pass, then man, like in the 1 year only, in the first year of the Series S, they've kind of switched it round from okay, the Xbox is good for value, but the exclusives aren't there. And I've always agreed with that. Sony smash it with the exclusives. But if they can manage to do something like this, having Halo and Starfield in the same year, that's a pretty good holiday season. You know what I mean? And also, and if it's and like you said, it's all coming to Game Pass. I don't even have to put bloody money into it. Well, I pay for Game Pass, of course, but I could just download it. But it depends how the Starfield turns out. I have got high hopes for it though. Have you heard anything on Starfield at all, Anthony?
No, it's the first time hearing of it.
Right, no, that's fair enough. But I think it's going to be one of those titles when you won't be able to not hear about it in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
I didn't realize it was coming out this year. It does look like it's heavily rumored. Yeah.
Yeah.
That it seems to be. That's interesting. That's massive.
That's
and
absolutely huge.
Combined with loads of other things as well, like the Elder Scrolls 6 and stuff in the next year or two. And all the indie titles they've announced as well. Was it 100 indie titles?
Like 100 are coming to the Xbox. They're not they're not the first party studio, so they're not going to come to Game Pass. Like games like I forgot the big indie studio. Is it Digital Revolver?
Mm-hmm.
They've
done quite a few.
That Death Door, I posted in one of our group chats. It looks absolutely incredible with the crow, and that looks insanely good. I would happily pay 15 to 20 quid on that. But the 20 games that are coming to day one Game Pass, the one came out yesterday. I've already downloaded it, and I can't wait to play it. It looks absolutely amazing. There was about 9 games that I wanted to play straight away, and there was about 5 other games that I wanted to try out because it's on Game Pass, right? That's insane. Like I think it's incredible.
I think
and Outriders as well, right?
I was going to say Outriders, which is obviously huge. I'm guessing you'll want to do a video on that in the future, Nathan. But
I'm hoping I hope it's a review. Yeah,
from a really solid team of developers as well. It just looks like a brilliant game. That, especially coming from, what originally drew me to the Xbox was Gears, and I know this isn't a Gears game, but it's very much on those kind of lines. But plus, and there's talk of them buying Discord as well, which would obviously help with getting the Microsoft name out there. I find it interesting because I do feel like Microsoft have really just kind of everyone was like, oh, they lost the last gen war. They clearly lost it. I don't think anyone would really dispute that.
Absolutely, it nearly killed them.
Apart from those piss station 4 tweets or whatever that's been going on Twitter, but I mean, I think it's fair to say Xbox lost, and now they're just coming in guns blazing with the cloud gaming, with all the developers they're buying, with the indie games coming out, with everything else. They're just just dominating
Absolutely,
things.
yeah, absolutely going. And
But
just briefly before,
yeah,
like, I don't know if you was going to move it, but I also want to talk about the fact that, obviously, both the PlayStation 5 and Xbox came at the same time, but I feel like the Xbox side of things was way more prepared for games from the past. And what I mean is not just backwards compatibility all the way to the original Xbox. The fact that you can upgrade the system so easy, like, I couldn't believe what I was seeing, but the actual official Xbox Twitter account, they posted a meme. Do you remember that video that when the Xbox One launched and it was how to share a game, and then the two Sony directors like just passed them the game and said that's it. It's basically got the Xbox and the PlayStation 5, and it's literally like how to upgrade your game. Because I don't know if you've seen the list on. I know we're going to get to it later with the Avengers. How to upgrade your Avengers on the PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5 to the Xbox side of things. Like the PlayStation, it's like 2 pages, and if it doesn't work, you got to try it again. And if you saved it, it doesn't go over. You just got to do it again. It's for free anyway, but you just got to keep trying it. It's a hassle to do. And then with the Xbox side of things, it literally says you just put the game in. And I feel like the smart delivery system that they implemented into the console, I think it'll benefit for the first 2 years, only for the first 2 years, and to the point when they don't really make much PlayStation 4 games or Xbox One games anymore.
but it's a big momentum boost. That, do you know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
propelling them into this generation, really.
yeah,
I find it funny though, like with Bethesda and other things, Xbox that started just before this generation or the start of it, towards the end of last year, mid last year, Xbox were very much like, we just want you to play games, guys. Like, oh, peace and love, man. We're just all about gamers and that. And then it's like, yeah, Bethesda's ours though. I do think, geez, that's definitely the Microsoft in them coming out there.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, this is just Microsoft with fuck you money basically, and then they're using it they're using it in the right direction. I mean, the Xbox One. I don't know if you remember the infamous E3. It literally TV. You can watch TV. You can watch TV. You can watch sports TV. It's like no one wanted that, and it almost killed him. And rightfully so. It bombed for a reason.
oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Um, Moving on, then the next thing we get to look at is Sony, and the PlayStation 5, but not just that, kind of the PS Plus and play at home. Is it that kind of
Yeah.
model that they brought out? Does anyone want to start with that on the games that have been released and what's been looked at?
Have you tried any of these games, Anthony? Like the most like I say the highest titles are probably Ratchet and Clank and Horizon Zero Dawn. I don't know if
Big.
them two interest you. Yeah, they're like the biggest titles I think out of all of them.
They
Like,
are both massive titles, though.
do they
Both very
interest you?
appealing.
Because the thing, you don't even need a subscription. So I think this is one of the
Yeah, I
best
have
things
been
about it.
meaning to play Horizon.
Well, apparently it comes with all the DLC as well, which is like a big bonus. It just saves you even more money, I think.
Yeah, I think Horizon, that's huge. And for
Yeah,
PlayStation as well, it feels like it's even bigger because, I mean, let's face it, up until the last kind of 12 months, I'd say they've been pretty stingy with what they're willing to give away.
yeah,
And I can't fault them for what they've done recently. Ratchet and Clank was one of my favorite PS4 games.
yeah,
I wouldn't say it was underrated because I think it got the credit it deserved, but it
yeah.
was
It did.
a brilliant game, a
Yeah,
genuinely brilliant game. If anyone's watching this and they've not played it, then I would highly recommend downloading it.
yeah, for sure, man. Like I said, these are the sort of titles. If they added to Game Plus, I'd be like, oh, okay, sure. But because it's not a subscription like tied to it,
Mm.
it really is a free game, and that's very rare these days. Yeah, and a lot of people, like Game Pass games, they're not free.
No, no. Yeah.
PlayStation Plus games, they're not free. These are free games, so you can't complain at all with them. And I'm sure there's other people that like the other 8 games that were selected, but for sure the two big titles to get them for free when you buy the console, like it does make a good argument. Obviously, I think Game Pass is one of the biggest subscriptions in gaming, but it does make a good argument. If you do buy a PlayStation 4 even, you have got 2 games ready to go. You know what I mean? Just waiting for you to play, which is awesome, I think.
Yeah, and two brilliant games,
Highly
like we
rated
said.
ones, yeah.
The other thing, I mean, PS Plus for last month, I guess, is worth a mention because Final
Yeah.
Fantasy VII,
Yeah.
that was a massive game.
Oh yeah.
The remake, that was, I mean, I would go as far as to say that was one of PlayStation's defining games back in the day. Do you know, back on PlayStation 1?
Oh
Like,
my
that was
God, yeah, it's a landmark game in gaming.
anyone
Yeah.
anyone within kind of 10 years of our of when we were born, either side knows
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII. Even if they don't know any of the others, they'll know that game and they'll associate it with PlayStation. So the fact that they've remade it and the fact that they brought it out on PS Plus, I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I do want to briefly touch on, and I know it's a contentious issue, but you've got issue with the way this has been released. And Anthony, I would like to get your take on it as well. I don't know if you're fully aware from all the arguments me and Nathan had. Do you know kind of what they're doing with Final Fantasy VII? So it's free on PS Plus, or it's with PS Plus for
Yeah. I heard the net about the DLC.
So what do you think? I mean, you have to buy the PS5 version, and then you have to buy you have to buy the PS4 version to upgrade it for free to PS5, and only then can you download the PS5 DLC, exclusive DLC. What do you think? Was that a clever move? Is that a money grab? Is it a clever move? Is it a fair move? What would your views on that be?
I mean, I remember you saying it basically equates to the PS4 guys are getting it for free, so it's a bit like, well, you're getting it for free, so you can't really complain. But I don't know, it's just sort of muddied the waters than doing it. Sort of them doing that has sort of thrown this argument up in the air, whereas if they hadn't have done it, it just, I don't know, it would have been very sort of defined.
I agree. That's a good way of putting it.
Sense.
No, muddy in the waters is one of the clearest ways of putting it. I think, like, it makes sense. I know, but it does. It makes sense. There was probably a much simpler or cleaner way of doing this, and they've gone for an odd way. So, reluctantly, I'll ask you, Nathan, what your views on it? I'm joking.
No, honestly, like, look, if you got a PlayStation 4 or a PlayStation 5, even, PlayStation 5 is just basically a PlayStation 4 but with extra stuff. But yeah, it's good. You get the game for free. But I've never seen any console ever do this with any subscription service. And that is when you put a game on that service, you get that game. There's no, there's no lock behind anything. They might not add even if there was DLC after the game launched, they don't have to add that DLC to that. No way. Like if they do, then that's a bonus and fair play to them if they do that. But getting a game for free gives people incentive to, oh, I like that game. Yeah, for sure. I'll spend another 10, 15 quid on that DLC that came out of there. Like I understand that. I'm not asking for extra. I'm not asking for more content that they've worked on. It's the fact that I've never seen this. Like if you download it on the PS Plus, you can't get the free upgrade to upgrade it to the PlayStation 5, which most people are only doing. Okay, I know you get faster frames and better resolution. That's cool, but most people are going to be doing that just so they got access to buy the new DLC. I don't understand. Like I'm scratching my head. I don't understand why they're doing this. Like I feel like I can't buy that. I've got it downloaded in case they change these conditions, but I don't feel like I can play through 30 to 40 hours of that game, but know that there is a wall there that I cannot get past unless I buy the game, which was an option that I had a year ago. Like I don't understand it.
I do get where you're coming from. I think there's definitely merit to what you're saying. It's kind of like it's obviously not a demo.
This is what I'm saying, right? It's muddied the waters, like just what?
But
I'm confused as well.
I think it's a clever financial move, and to be honest with you, the cynical side of me looks at Sony and just thinks, yeah, standard. Like I'm not surprised. I'm not disappointed. I expect this sort of bullshittery in some way or another. Because whilst we're giving you something, you've not earned the rest of it. You know what I mean, with your money. But I think it's a clever financial move because I was reading something. I don't know how accurate it is, but this DLC doesn't look like it's going to be the last DLC for the Final Fantasy VII remake, which means maybe in 3 or 4 years when we've forgotten that it was ever a PS Plus game, and you look back and think, yeah, you look back and think there's two extra DLCs there, and it's only a tenner on the PlayStation Store discounted or whatever. I may as well just get it. And I think there's definitely a long-term move there from Sony that maybe I've overlooked. But I do agree with you, to be honest with you, Nathan. I think it's a strange move, and I definitely agree with you, Anthony. I think you said it best. You know what I mean?
It's just It's just
You've
weird.
also got to look at the fact that this new Final Fantasy VII, it's not the whole game. They're doing it in parts, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair though, like the Final Fantasy Part One that they give it, it is like a full fleshed out game. Like it's a four. They've managed to do the Hobbit to it, if you know what I mean. Like they've basically made it into separate. To separate. It's meant to be 4 games, but each game is like a good length, and it has definitely enough content in it. Obviously, they must add extra stuff in there.
Does
I
that mean
just
that each one of these parts is going to get its own little DLC as well? So this is the proper milking Final Fantasy VII. Like Final
yeah, I mean,
Fantasy VII's been milked to death for
yeah, yeah.
its entire freaking life.
But
No,
you
yeah.
They're
say
still
that,
doing it now.
you say that though, but look at Stephen and Damien, two of the other kind of content guys on the channel, that they love this game.
Yeah.
They're very happy with this game.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's an amazing game, but like, there's no doubt Sony have milked Final Fantasy VII since 1997.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
agree.
And
mind.
they're
I
still
don't.
doing it, and they won't. They're not going to stop until people just stop buying it, and they're not going to. So
But this was one of the most like this is
there's your
the
bullshittery that
most.
Adam was talking about.
This was like the most requested like remake ever though in history of gaming, I think. And we did finally get it, and apparently they have delivered from everybody who played. They absolutely love this game. So I think that's awesome. And if they want to make DLC like for every time they finish a game, I think that's fair play. If they put effort to make another 10-hour campaign kind of chapter in the story, I'll pay another 15 quid for that for sure. It's no different than most games these days. It's just yeah, it's just weird. It's weird. It's like they've gone into the game to. I don't understand how they've done it really.
I love the
I
way you
don't.
present that because I get what you mean.
Yeah.
It's like they've got a screwdriver and just untook a screw out from the middle of the fucking hardware and been like, if you want
It's
this screw, you
like
have to pay
what's
me.
they're gonna have to make additional writing, right? Like if I try and upgrade it of the PlayStation Plus, like it's gonna have like new text, right? Surely, like specifically for me.
I would
Like
assume so.
you, you, you cheap, you cheap. Like you have to buy the game and then you can get this. I'm like, but it's a free update. No, you have to buy the game again.
I can
Like,
imagine PS Plus owners or people who've got that copy clicking on play DLC and it's just like get to the store.
Oh,
So there's your card,
the
lad.
exact same friggin' sound effect.
I just yeah I am confused. I'll be honest, but I am glad people are gonna enjoy this. But their pain is gonna come. It will not maybe not now, but later. I said this like I'm sure people are gonna get a PlayStation 5, whether it'll be 2 years from now or a year from now or 3 years from now, unless they decide to stop playing games or something like that. But and then they want to get that DLC that they never played. Oh, your copy was the broadcast version, right? No, that one doesn't upgrade though. You have to buy the game again. But like what? I don't
No.
understand. Like you gave me the game, right? But
I-
it is what it is.
They might go back on that. They might go back on that.
Hopefully, yeah.
In the next few months, but I doubt it. I very much doubt it. Right, so I think that's Sony covered. Unless there's anything else I've missed there, guys. I can't remember.
No, I think that's pretty much it. Just the PS Plus has. I do want to ask you one thing actually before we move on. Is the PS Plus like? Is it gotten competitive enough compared to the Game Pass?
It's not in the same league still. It's still not in the
Yeah.
same league. I mean, it's not just the game, the content, or the quality of the games and stuff like that. Like it's definitely improving. It's definitely going. I wouldn't say going that way. It's very slowly. Like I think Xbox is still way ahead, but it's going in that direction. But the other thing is that Game Pass is more than PS Plus can really ever be the way it is, because Game Pass is day one release. Like
Yeah.
unless Sony are willing to do something else to compete with that, that is a huge benefit. Not, oh yeah, have you seen the PS Plus month? The game's like, oh, we can play that next month. And I know it came out 7 months ago, but you can't wait. And I know people will be like, oh, I'll wait till it comes on PS Plus, but you could be waiting a month, you could be waiting a year, you
We're
could be
waiting
waiting
2 years. Like
Like-
what? Days Gone came out what 3 years ago?
yeah. And and the I'm pretty sure the Uncharted collection only came out like last year or something as well
Yeah,
on PS Plus.
yeah.
It's great. Like I love it. It's brilliant. But you can't compete with Game Pass on that scale. I wouldn't compare them in that way, to be honest with you.
No.
And I think that's a big factor, like the day one releases. What do you
Yeah.
guys think?
Sorry, go on, Anthony. How do you feel the PlayStation Plus? Because I remember we had a ton of fun on Fall Guys when it came out, and that was one of the original like big ones.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's in comparison to Game Pass. No, you're basically getting just a whole load of games with Game Pass. It doesn't compare to that. I I barely use the PS. I just don't know why.
Yeah.
There's something about it.
I mean, I think it's not necessarily your fault
I
though,
don't know.
like really, because it's like not everyone is going to be appealed to. I know Final Fantasy is a big game, and I think that's awesome, but it is over a year old. Like if you're not played it, then cool, man. Like go play that game. I think you'll enjoy it, regardless of what we said before. But I think you will enjoy it. But yeah, in terms of it being competitive, I think it is competitive. But yeah, like you said, not in the same way because if you put everything into account, like Xbox is Game Pass, that's 100% game. Sony isn't. This is just one. This is just their subscription service,
Yeah,
tied
yeah.
bundled with their massive IPs. You know what I mean? What we got Horizon coming out. A rumored God of War supposed to come out at the end of this year. I believe when I see it, but it is supposed to be coming out soon anyway. And Returnal coming out this month, so it's like.
Yeah, it's like PS.
You've
It's
got to
like
give and
PS
take.
Plus feels like a bonus.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it.
It's like a bonus rather than sort of a necessity. Whereas Game Pass seems more like you should really get on Game Pass.
It lives
You're
and
sort of
dies
missing
with
out
Game
if you
Pass.
don't.
Yeah, I think well said. Yeah, I think you kind of said it perfect for me there.
Yeah, I agree with both of you on that point. To be honest with you, I never really thought about it like that, but yeah, it's an additional thing that
Yeah.
Sony have in their arsenal. It's not the defining thing. So then, lastly, I suppose what we're kind of left with is crossplay games. Anyone think of any decent crossplay games that anyone's playing?
Outriders has come out. Well, Outriders is crossplay, which is a big way to go. I think our game's going to be crossplay now. I think they kind of have to be, right?
It seems like it's going that way. Yeah.
I mean, it's Avengers on there.
As far as I know, yeah, it is. PC,
Right.
Xbox, PS4, yeah. So crossplay, yeah.
And how's
I
that going?
don't know. I don't know how many players are still playing. So I'm still playing it.
And getting my bib on, Anthony. How is Avengers going?
The thing is, the thing with it is just it's so easy to just pick up and play. You end up picking up and play. It's just so mind numbing. Just go in and hack slash and turn it off.
Yeah.
It's still a crappy game though.
Are those two additional free characters like helped it at all?
Not really.
Did you not add anything to the game, or
really
is it just like you play them and then you either like them or not?
Kate Bishop is actually probably one of the best characters in the game. Like, whereas the other characters, like they had this sort of sense of you have to level them up before they're of any use to you. Whereas Kate Bishop is like straight out of the box, like she's so easy to use and she's actually really good to use. And her like individual story is actually one of the better of
Right.
anyone else's.
And what about
So
the cut?
I think.
basically, what they need to do every time they introduce a new character is give them a story that is on par with like the main story. Because when you play the main game, it's actually a really cinematic story that's on par with the movies. Just give each new character a story like that, and that'd probably bump the game up massively.
Right.
But do you
But they're
reckon they're
not.
willing to invest that? Yeah, that's the only thing, because that cost a lot, doesn't it, to create new stories? But they're bringing out.
That's what they have to do to save it, but
Apparently,
they're not
it
going to do
lost.
it.
It lost to was it 20 million or something?
Do you know what
Yeah,
that's mad?
last I heard, like the amount of gamers on it was into the hundreds. It was like sort of 900 people in the entire world are playing it.
Oh man,
I-
that's literally like one person per character. You know what I mean? Like if you got enough heroes to play,
It's like
everybody
two
can play a
people.
unique character.
It's
Yeah,
it's it's crazy to think that a game of this kind of magnitude as well, like Avengers, is probably the one of the biggest, if not the biggest franchise on the planet, or it has been for the past few years, like Marvel anyway.
Yeah.
And then gaming now at the peak of gaming as it ever has been, and it's just flopped. It's just, I think it's impressive that they've made it flop so hard.
Is the currency system changed at all?
no.
I
Apparently,
don't.
they've made it even harder to level up now. Apparently,
Double
Oh
down.
my god.
they've made it so. Apparently, people have been leveling up too quickly, so
Right.
they've like made it like they've made it like
Too
sort of
quickly.
after a certain level, like the experience you get like goes down slightly, so you level up more slowly, which is just not what you needed in that game.
This is a paid full price £60 game, man.
Yeah.
What
What's
is
going to
life?
piss me?
What's
What is
that, sorry?
life?
What is life?
What is life? Yeah. It makes the question
This is a
deep.
£60 game, and they got paid fucking battle passes. You got 700 different currencies, and and you know what? It's funny as well. I'm gonna ask you, where is Spider-Man, yo? What happened to that?
He's
Sony
coming.
don't.
That's what I've been asking.
He's coming. The game's about a year old, isn't it? Or is it just felt like a year?
I hate that this game might die before we actually get Spider-Man. That's just out of order.
Isn't he on the cover, or is he? Is he not? I don't know. I
There's a
might
little
be.
sticker in the corner.
Oh,
A little
shit.
sticker in the corner of the PS4 game that says like PS4 exclusive Spider-Man. When?
Did it come out in September? I'm sure it came out
Around
around.
September,
August,
October.
Right,
because he got
damn,
pushed
man.
back.
Then.
I thought Spider-Man was like, isn't he like a pre-order bonus thing?
That's
Like,
what I thought.
like shit.
Piracy.
Take it back to game. Go to. I've been looking for Spider-Man on this game for
I
the
can't
past
find
7
it.
months. Yeah, I've been doing my 9 to 5 Monday to Friday.
Everything's
I
been
can't find
closed
it.
for the last year.
Here you go. I tell you, if you say that to game, they'll tell you it's on the back of their game elite. You know, you just need to pay blah blah amount of money a year. But yeah, I can't see Spider-Man. I don't understand it. It caused so much drama, and it wasn't even necessary at the end of the day, was it? Because like by the time it comes,
No,
it's like everyone's been Thanos, like everyone's gone, and Spider-Man's it's gonna be literally just Spider-Man in that game. But it is what it is. Apparently Black Panther's coming soon, right?
maybe good.
There's no news on it anymore. There's no one's right.
Damn, if Anthony's losing hope, then the game's got no chance, man. But I think what you're saying is right, Anthony. I think okay, they're adding characters, but they're not changing the core mechanics. They're not changing the scheming battle passes, the currency. It's just insane how they flop so much. Yeah, I think that company's in serious trouble. Like they're not happy with them. You know, Square Enix are not happy with it. And this is the team that brought Deus Ex. You know, no the newer ones. Like how did they fall so damn far? Do you know what I mean? But it's a shame.
I think at some point there was like a really decent core game there because you've got the main storyline, and like I said, they've sort of taken inspiration from the movies and made this really epic cinematic game. And then it's like someone's come along and just said slap a load of like money making schemes on the end of it, and it's like been forced to focus on that side of it. That's how
Yeah.
it feels anyway.
It does feel like that was the gamers being like, no, you're going too far now. Like, come on, we'll get pushed to a certain point. We'll buy you shit and we'll do in-game currency. We'll sign on to that, but to a point. And then obviously Spider-Man being exclusive didn't happen. Didn't help things. It is a shame though because I feel like it did have potential.
Like I feel because I was one of the people that
They
didn't
are
like that.
they are talking about making it free to play.
Fuck it. I say do it as soon as you can.
Mhm.
Do it, and then maybe people will be like, "What I paid that costume or whatever it is they're trying to
You're
sell."
talking about what I like actually bought it.
Well, yeah, you should get like fucking billion in-game currency or something for it, yeah.
I
But
think you'll get a
it does
costume.
strike me as a DC Universe type of game, anyway. To be honest with you,
Yeah, yeah. It's weird. Yeah, I think I could. It might be successful right now if they launched it as a free-to-play game. It's mad. Or even if I do the PS Plus row or the Game Pass row, any kind of way you can get the game for free, I think it would have helped it.
I agree.
But
I agree.
but it's sad to see, but it's a shame because it's one of the worst things to come from gaming in the last like 6 months for me. But every time I hear about it, and I feel like we're in the most competitive gaming like business right now. Like all three consoles are booming right now. I think. I mean, Sony. I think the second half of this year, Sony is gonna dominate those headlines. Ratchet and Clank, Horizon, God of War, all in one year.
Yeah,
So you talk
it'll
about
be.
three game of the year kind of contenders.
It's definitely the past 12 months for me has gone just kind of flip flop between the two. You're like, oh shit, I'm Team Sony. Oh no, I'm Team
Yeah,
Microsoft. I'm Team Sony. And hopefully that's good. That's what you want. That's
yeah,
exactly what you want from a console war.
yeah.
So I'm glad to hear that. And I think that's where we kind of tie the video in and end it. Unless there's anything else, any points anyone wants to bring up.
No, I'm good.
Awesome. Well, in that case, thanks for watching our Q1 catch up, guys. A look back at what's happened over the past few months, and obviously a recap on Avengers is always a treat. So, on that note, I'll say thanks for watching. We all appreciate it, and GG's.
Yeah, GG guys.
GG's.